Hello. Um, Thanks for clicking on the video. I'm not too sure if this is something you're going to like. I'm not too sure if this is something I'm going to like. I apologize in advance. This is just off the cuff. I'm not too sure what I'm doing. I've never made a video before, but this packet, oh actually I can't even tell if I'm looking at it now. This packet of curry has made me want to try out making YouTube videos. It says up here in the corner, or on the bottom corner, let me see, yeah, oh, there, I can see my finger, medium hot. Now, that's the biggest mistake I made today, and that's an achievement. It might be the second biggest mistake I made today, but it's an achievement, and it spells trouble for tomorrow. So, my wife, my lovely wife, has had to go home to her home country of Philippines for a couple of weeks, and I am at home by myself, looking after the kids, and I guess I should show the kids. Here's my
Did you bang
son
your head,
Lucas,
Cece? Oh.
and I'm talking to Cece off in the corner.
Yeah, Lucas, you were clapping your hands and waving and singing. Of course he found you.
I went to the
Okay,
park
oh,
today.
I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna go away. He's here. He's here.
Oh, that's Cece.
Cece. Over here.
Okay, so a bit of backstory. Um, we're living in Melbourne now. This is a new thing. We moved here 3 weeks ago from Christchurch, New Zealand, and currently I am, as I said, at home by myself, and I'm minding the kids whenever they wake up. And with Cece, it's often. She complains a lot in her sleep, but I have noticed that it's usually got to do with probably wanting to fart and not getting comfortable enough to do it. But she wakes up angrily and she moves around in the bed a lot, and she literally headbutted her brother there a little while ago, and he didn't wake up, but she started complaining about it. But as I said, the curry thing is the least bad day that I've had, but I finished putting the kids to bed really early tonight. I was very happy. Cece passed out at 6:30, and Lucas fell asleep at 7:30, and then I went off to make dinner. Now, I made a Japanese curry, but I only realized that I had bought medium spicy on the other day, and I didn't think about it at all, and my son won't touch it. So that was 2 hours of making that, and I know if it was my wife, it would have been about 45 minutes or something like that. But it's me, and I don't normally do the cooking, and she does cooking and minding, and I do the minding sometimes or often, and normally the roles are kind of 60-40, one way or the other, depending. Now, I don't think that I'm all that great. I know that she is, but yeah. So I'm in the situation now where I'm minding the kids every day, and probably for the next 15 days. And I was just talking to my wife earlier today, and Zendi, and she says, "Oh, I'll make a video about it and put it up on YouTube and talk about the dad experience of being by yourself." And I think that would grate on a lot of people, especially single mothers, or other parents that don't have just 2 weeks, but they have their rest of their lives. But maybe there's a bit of humor in how useless I am at some things or not. On the very, very first, no, on the second day, my daughter climbed up on top of her pram and sledgehammered herself into the ground, banging her head. And this is about 2 minutes before we were about to leave the house to go to the park. And I ended up having to bring her to the doctor because, um, she sledgehammered herself into the ground, and it's a hard wooden floor. And yeah, I had to find the doctor's office fairly quickly. Thankfully, it's only literally 5 minute walk around the corner. Brought her in, and $500, or sorry, not 500, $100 later, doctor goes, yeah, she looks okay. Keep an eye on her. Give her some Panadol for the day. And we went about our day. I ended up going to the museum, and took a couple of short videos of the museum, of the Lego stuff that was in there on YouTube. And yeah, some people actually wanted to look at the videos. Now I think they were looking at the Lego because my kids are in the other videos, and nobody gives a damn about them so much. But you know, this is about me and being a dad and stuff like that, and by myself. And I guess that's not the biggest thing that I would like to talk about. I think when I first arrived here 3 weeks ago, I had been unemployed for about a week, and I was working in this great company that I really loved called Trimble. And I was working on a lot of AI stuff, and I really loved it. And I was also doing my own job, but I was working on that as an extra part of the job. But we had been planning. We had told them that we were leaving about like a month beforehand, but we'd been on and off thinking about it for about 6 months. And we were in Christchurch, and how can I say it? I loved it there. My wife likes it a lot, but Melbourne is about, I don't know, 10 to 15 times larger, and I think she's much more used to a big city. Whereas for me, coming from Ireland and Galway, Christchurch was, really good size, bigger, but not too big, and yeah, it was great. I loved it. I've been in New Zealand for 15 years. I moved there in 2008, and I met my wife about 8 years ago, and now we have two lovely kids. Um, yeah, this is Cece,
Woo! Good girl. Thank you. High five. High five. More?
and
Ow!
this is us today. And I found the third park that we like to go to. And my son is a bit of a chatterbox. I actually not just a little bit of a chatterbox. He's the ultimate chatterbox. He's definitely like me as a kid, but probably way nicer. And yeah, he keeps on making friends with people, and I keep on getting parents' phone numbers, and I'm going off to go meet them at these different parks on different days of the week. So it's not like we haven't had interactions with other people or myself. And to be honest, I'm quite happy not chatting with people, or I'm happy with chatting with people. I'm an introvert and an extrovert. Sorry, I'm not looking in the camera enough. I'm looking kind of at myself over here, so I'm not used to streaming. I have done drunk recording before, and I kept them for a while, and then I deleted them because it's embarrassing. And in fact, I'm not even too sure if this is embarrassing or not. So I might, or may not, just delete this. And I don't think I will. I think I'm going to put this one up online, and I'm just going to copy and paste it after the end of I finished, and put down something like 15 days of being a dad by himself and the struggles that there is. So I guess I'll get through that part first. Um, the struggles. Well, I am having a bit of a small little drink. I think I have to put it into a cup like this if you're on YouTube. It's not even something strong, it's just made out of grapes. But if I have any more than, say, here, I'll have a little bit of a headache. And if anybody knows what it's like having a kid, or two kids early in the morning, you don't want that. So that'll be me for the night, unfortunately. And not that I drink much nowadays, but yeah, it is what it is. So, yeah, get up at 6 in the morning, make pancakes, or this morning I made rice because both my kids are half Asian and they like to have rice for breakfast, and chicken sausages, and then give them some strawberries, give them some blueberries, and then get them ready before they start feeling enclosed in the house, or I start feeling enclosed in the house and the arguments start kicking in. And believe me, the biggest child here is me, not them. And then get them out and get to a park. Now, I did this thing before my wife left, and I started making all these little plans about like what to cook on each day. And today is Friday, so I stopped making a plan as of yesterday apparently, and I don't even think that I followed any of the stuff that I wrote down here. Maybe I did some of it, but most of the stuff that's down here is probably the groceries and stuff that my wife had bought, and I just, you know, finished off those. And I've tried going down to a place called Collingwood, and uh, they have a Japanese store there, and I bought some like extra, whatchamacallit, dumplings. Now, I'm getting a crash course in cooking. But every time I cook something, I think that it's probably going to be poisonous, and I don't want to have the stomach issues, let alone for me, but for them. But uh, as I said before, it is what it is, and you have to get on with things. So yeah, I made the rice and chicken this morning, and I like to put a little bit of garlic into it because I just like garlic, and I always have this thing in my head where there's going to be some health benefits from it. But if you overdo the garlic, then your stomach ends up farting a lot for you. Yeah. So after that, I took them out, and I went down to the store, Woolworths. They call it Woolies here in Melbourne, and bought a couple of chicken breasts to prepare for this meal that I bought down at the Japanese place in Collingwood, and yeah, bought a couple of potatoes, and I already had onion and garlic, not garlic, onion, carrot, potato, chicken, the curry, and I'll make the rice fresh tomorrow because I've been making rice at night time to be all prepared for the next day, and then I fry it up a little bit. But I actually like the freshly cooked rice. Now, one thing that we have at home is a steam cooker. Or when I say it's at home, I mean like back in New Zealand. We back in Christchurch. We had a steam cooker, and that thing I have never been more grateful for, and I've never missed one before. But you just chuck in your rice, 3 cups, 3.5 cups or 4 cups of water. Come back 15 minutes later, done. Everybody's happy. But now I have to do it in a pot. So it's like you boil it, then you put it down on low heat, and then you just wait for all the water to evaporate, and then you're done as well. But then you have to clean the pot and blah blah blah. But yeah, it's actually really a lot easier than I thought it was. Yeah, the biggest thing around here is that we're in this lovely Airbnb. So we haven't got we aren't in our own house yet. We're moving to another house in on the 9th, and we're moving of October, 2023, and it's in town, and it's a lovely place, and we had savings, but then and we have a couple of months of rent paid for. But my wife's got a job, I'm unemployed, and I have had this thing since I started being introduced to AI in my previous work, and I've been wanting to set up my own little company or something on the side, and then also go and look for another job. So, my first, we were supposed to come over here in the one week, but then we hadn't actually prepared well enough in advance, and then we postponed it for another week. And we had our neighbors actually are helping us out, and they're absolutely wonderful people. I'm not going to mention any names or anybody here because I didn't ask any permission to do that, but maybe in the future. Anyway, our lovely neighbors are actually packing up some of the rest of our stuff and then helping us to ship it over. So it's going to be coming over here by the time we're moving into the other place, or maybe a month later or something like that. I'm really not too sure. The reason I'm really not too sure is because basically my wife, for all intents and purposes, wears the pants in the relationship, and that's cool by me. Maybe not by her. So on the one hand, it's good that I'm getting the chance to do some stuff when it's necessary like this. Um, but on the other hand, I've been wanting to get onto doing my coding and getting my software service thing set up properly. Um, so we were I had to disconnect my computer in the first week, and we were postponed by another week. And my computer was all in bits, so I didn't want to reassemble it and then disassemble it because we were doing all this packing. And then we came over here, and then the first week or two, my wife was like going hell for leather looking for a new job. And we were also looking for new accommodation. And the first place we went to, we were turned down, and then we had like a little bit of a, oh, the reason we didn't get the house is because maybe I didn't have a job, and turns out that that wasn't the case. We just didn't get the house because we weren't one of the first people to look for it. And then so we decided to go and do, a major house hunting, and we did that with the kids, and we managed to get maybe 4 or 5 places checked out per day for a few days. Now, if you're looking for a place in Melbourne or maybe in all of Australia, I'm not too sure, you need to actually go to the house first, be signed off by a person saying that you actually been to see the house before you're allowed to rent it. So that means you have to run around and do a lot of places. Now, if you're running around with 2 kids, that's not easy. I can hear voices in the background or a noise. One of them is making some noise, but nothing yet. Oh yeah, they're sleeping out over there. Um, I said to my wife on the third day, or on the second day, like, hey, tomorrow, why don't you go off and go look for places, and I'll mind the kids for the day. And it was already getting to the point where my wife was still doing the cooking, and I was doing like, I think honestly about like 70 to 80% of the minding, but like it was only out of necessity, and I'm useless when it came to cooking. But now that she's left, I've actually gotten a couple of meals that I can definitely know that I can cook if somebody actually makes sure I buy the right thing. Now, she's always complained about this about me. It's like, did you look at the price when you bought that? No, I didn't. Do you remember what it cost? No, I don't. Did you know what you got? No, I don't. I don't have a clue. I just got the thing that you told me to get. Did you look for a better one or a smaller one or a more appropriate size? No, didn't. I think I'm learning that lesson now, but I know me, I'll probably not remember it after she comes back, which is probably not good. But at least I'll be able to do some of the cooking a bit more. Because she has said before she would like to spend more time with the kids, but she has to do this or that, and I do now feel a bit worse about that. But at the same time, like, as in, it wasn't like I was doing nothing, so I wasn't. Yeah. Anyhow, yeah. So we went looking for accommodation, and we actually got one. So the housing crisis is here, but I think it's still manageable for certain uh, levels of income. Slash, like, I think there's a lot more single people or people looking for one room rather than looking for a couple of rooms. So I think we might be lucky to be in less competition, um, or we were just, lucky that we just managed to get so many different places. Um, I don't really know. I know that the housing crisis is worse in Ireland, and that's where I'm from, um, originally, but I haven't been there for, I don't know, maybe 10 years or something. Um, so I think for a lot of you, hopefully my voice is comprehensible, but if it's not, you probably turned off already. Um, my son seems to have a bit of a blocked nose the last few days. Actually, same here. So it might be new allergies that we have, and definitely hear some noise. Um, yeah. So I've been trying to get along to go off and work on my website. So looking terrible. Yep, definitely hear some voices. 1 second. You okay, buddy? Do you need a wipe for your nose? poor little guy has a blocked nose and he doesn't know how to blow his nose, so I need to find something to clear it out a little bit. Hopefully this will help. Minute. Anyway, sorry, you're looking at the website with tiny writing probably for the last few minutes. I apologize. Anyway, the website's not really working, but I managed to get the Google sign in stuff working, which took a while. It's called Bunker Docs, and you can buy a particular plan. The aesthetic looks terrible, but I'll get around to making that look a bit nicer in the future. When I get some time, which might be not be for another few weeks, but yeah, not much I can do to help him. So my son at the moment, I'm gonna bring him off to get this is Lucas, this is Cece. She gets grumpy, and then sometimes he gives her a hug. And this is Bun Bun, which he loves very much, and he says it protects him at night time. He also tells me now recently that Bun Bun's always talking to him, which is cute and weird at the same time. Maybe if this goes on YouTube, he'll get to see it in 20 years. He was telling me today that Bun Bun keeps on saying, I am Bun Bun, I am Bun Bun to him. So, that is what it is. I think I am getting messages from my wife at the moment, which is, oh no, my friend. So, I don't know what these videos are, but I think that I should play maybe a couple of them. This is the park, the quarries today.
1, 2, 3, go!
This is actually really cool.
You want to have a go next, Lucas?
No.
Okay. Is there more seats? Yeah? Yeah, we do. But
I also need to get sunscreen tomorrow. I have to keep their hats on them and find shade, and they're probably not as affected by the sun as myself.
We have some strawberries and
But
blueberries to have.
that's another idiotic thing that I haven't sorted out in Melbourne.
Yeah? Oh, cool.
I actually do really think that swing is cool.
I literally just put CC in and gave her a go. Can we just give her a go? You were on it for a little while.
Okay, so if you are doing this with the two-year-old and a 4-year-old,
now CC's having a little while on.
It is well worth your time spending at least 3 hours at a playground, or some other exercise like that. Main reason is they actually do get tired enough by the end of the day that they will go to sleep, which is necessary. So here's another one I think I recorded. I'm just looking at a little thumbnail.
Where's Nanai?
And Nanai is
They
how.
are behind us.
Okay, so I'm called Tatai. In Tagalog, Tatai means dad. Nanai means mum. And initially, when they were born, when Lucas was born, I was a bit like getting called Tatai. I'm meant to be called dad. But now I wouldn't change it for the world. I like being called Tatai. It's nice. It's unique. So it's cute. They are good together. She's a bit too violent sometimes. But she idolizes him until he annoys her. And he's good at that. But he's the sweetest little guy in the world. He gets a little spoiled. And actually that does bother me a bit. So we went out today and I had gotten them ice pops from the house, which I bought a box of them in the morning. And then by the time we got to where we were going, they'd already had one of those squeezy yogurt things, and I'd already gotten them little chocolate bits. Now I was already giving them all that other food that I mentioned earlier, plus I had some pasta that I made for them during the day, and I had already offered them some sandwiches. She's refusing the pasta, which is frustrating. Um, and I think that's why she's having the farts now while in bed, because she's just basically going, no, I'll drink my milk. I'm good with that. I'll drink my milk. But yeah, they as soon as we get home after having another ice hop, because it was bloody hot outside today, for at least me and definitely for them. I thought, good job, guys. You walked a few kilometers and you ended up playing for about 3 hours at the park. Here's an ice cream. He walks in the door and goes, can I have some chippies, i.e. crisps or potato chips, whatever you want to call them, where you're from. And I was like, man, we just got home. Can you eat something else first? And then as soon as he has a couple of chippies, which I gave him, foolish me, then he wants another thing, and then he wants cartoons, and it's like, okay, he's a 4-year-old, I have to expect it, but it's can be a little irritating when you see like him getting so much. So it's like I have to like walk the line between, hey, no more for you, that's enough, and like as in, hey, if you asked a little nicer, maybe I would have. Like if he had turned around and goes, hey, Tata, thank you very much for all the food you've given me and all the games that you let me play. May I have a little bit more, please? But nah, he doesn't do that, and I couldn't blame him. He's 4, but he is a great negotiator, and I expect that another year from now he will be like that. So let's see if I can find one of the videos of the smacked forehead. Oh yeah, well you can see the image there a little bit. That was I brought them to the museum here in Melbourne, State Museum. Oh man, that place is great. Or State Library, sorry, State Library. It's bloody awesome. They had people singing in the background and stuff like that. They didn't want any part of it. They wanted to go coloring, but it's really nice that they have that kind of thing during the week for families and stuff. Oh,
did you guys say thank you to Nanai? Maybe you should. Sit down lower.
This is just trying to get a video out of the kids. Oh, I don't know what that is. What's this? Oh, this is me taking pictures at nighttime. Oh, this is the old house. So he had red LEDs lined up against the wall, and it was the only color that I could actually sleep beside him with. I do love his onesie. He's a cute little man. Anyhow, so I'm gonna try and spend at least half an hour or something like that if I can during the day, making a recording and talking about my life as a dad by himself for a short period of time, only a few weeks, doing everything in a 24/7 time period, and maybe a bit more about Melbourne and Christchurch, and maybe I can talk about how my website is coming along, or not coming along as it might be. It's going to be pretty cool, I think. It's turning basically your own documentation into a vector database, and then the vector database will be interpreted or understood by an AI like ChatGPT, and then it'll give you your own information backed up from facts. Now, to be honest, I think that it's really good, mainly because it is your data and it's going to be secure and all on your own side of things. But all these big corporate companies like Google and Microsoft and others are coming out with their own type of it. I just trust me more than I trust them, though they're, it's early days with AI, and I have other bigger or other plans for this. But I think that once this is up and running, not working, as I said. Once this is up and running, it'll actually be really cool too, and I'm looking forward to showing people it. And it's always nice to show your work and what you've done. So this is working on a Django server, and I'm going to be having a React front end, and yeah, so that's that. I'm going to go off and prepare for bed, and hopefully not have a headache in the morning. And this is me. I'm Owen. Nice to meet you. Thank you for clicking on my video. Let me know if I totally suck at this. Bye.